And we're live. Hello, everyone. It's Vic, your Whisky Minister here once again. Not been on live since Christmas Day when I finished working my way through my whisky selection box. I had a great time in December. Loads of people joining me, loads of comments, and I loved it so much that I thought I'd do it all the way through next year. So, what I'm going to do tonight is just have a little time looking at my top 3 drams that I've had this year and then telling you, sort of promoting what I'm hoping to do next year. And straight away, Bill's online. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Thanks for the Hogmanay and New Year greetings that you emailed me, that you texted me just a few minutes ago. Thank you so much for that. Bill's been one of my favourites on this last December, coming on about every night. And me and Bill have been having some great chats about whisky on the way. So, yes, I loved doing my whisky selection box that I got from the Really Good Whisky Company. Loved all the interaction, loved doing all that. So, what I'm planning to do, starting tomorrow, is 100 drams in 22. And I'm going to pick some of the drams that I've got around me, maybe some new ones that I get, and just chat through them like I did in my whisky selection box. So hopefully you'll join me on that journey. Hopefully you'll have a dram or two as well. Tell me what you're dramming, and we'll have a wee conversation. But what I thought I'd do tonight to introduce that is to just very briefly run through my top 3 drams at 21. And these are what I'll start with in my 100 drams for 22, if you can understand that. So I'm not going to be having a dram tonight. I might have one later, but I'm not going to have one tonight. I'm going to start this tomorrow or Sunday night. So what were my top 3 drams of 21? Well, I had loads of drams. Loads of drams during 21. I was so fortunate to get samples sent through. I did a lot of work, blind tasting with a really good whisky company, got loads of chances to taste lots of great whisky there. But what I've picked are 3 actually that whiskies that were gifts given to me during the year. Still blessed to be given these whiskies and really thankful to the people that gave them to me. Now, I posted online a couple of days ago what my top 3 were going to be, but I didn't put them in an order. And I've had feedback already. Straight away, Woody was on the WhatsApp. No Benromach 21 on your list, Vic. What are you talking about? And he is correct. I actually was in a real quandary. I had my top 4, and it was taking me ages to whittle it down to my top 3, because I did think the Benromach 21 was an absolutely cracking dram that I tasted back in, I think it was July. Now, I tasted it over at Woody's. We're having a bit of a party, myself and my football buddies. And it was outside, and there was only 5 of us. It was under the rules and regulations at the time. And Woody very generously opened his Benromach 21. And it was an absolutely fantastic dram. Now, what I've decided to do is use my top 3 to taste in the first 3 of 22. So my Benromach's nae open. So I didn't really want to open it just yet. So that, and only that, Woody, is why it dropped out of my top 3. I'm a bit worried that Keith Cruikshank might be watching as well. Fantastic, Keith, and I will be tasting that during the year, but I'm just not sure when I'm going to open it. So, what about my top 3? And yes, they were all gifts. Now, coming in at number 3, as they say, is a Glenmorangie. And this is the Glenmorangie, the Elementa. I think it was designed originally for travel retail, but of course, not a lot of travel retail over the last 18 to 24 months. So this was for sale up in the shop at Glenmorangie when myself and the Whisky Widow were up there for a wee trip earlier on this year. And I went in, the place was shut, the distillery was shut, but we just happened to meet Eddie, the manager. So Eddie just gave myself and Nunzi a wee look round, which was fantastic. And then I went into the distillery because I wanted to go and buy a Glenmorangie Lighthouse. And that was solely for sale at the distillery. So I went into the shop to buy this. And when I bought it, the lady behind the counter said, "Oh, and we've got this one for you as well." Now, Eddie very kindly gave me a bottle of Elementa as a gift when I was up at Glenmorangie. And that is fantastic. Now, that's probably the first one I'm going to start with for my 100 drams in 22. So that's number 3. So you've got to be a good whiskey to beat that. It's American oak bourbon, obviously, for the first 12 years, I think. But then it's finished in virgin charred casks. And it's a 14-year-old, and it gives it a fantastic spiciness, woodiness, and sweetness that I will talk all about tomorrow or Sunday. So what about number 2? Well, number 2 this year is another gift. And it was a very kind gift from one of my clients who I work for, the Edinburgh Whisky Academy. So Kirsty and Ian, thank you very much for my bottle of Ardbeg Corryvreckan. Now, myself and the Edinburgh Whisky Academy did a bit of work this year, online courses for Ardbeg customers and with some of the Ardbeg marketing team. And I tasted, where are they? The Wee Beastie, the 10, and the Anoa. But Corryvreckan was missing from my collection. So very kindly, Kirsty and Ian sent me one to top up my collection. And this has been my number 2 dram of the year. This was absolutely fantastic. And I'll probably have a wee dram of that Wednesday or Thursday next week. So you can join me for that. So that was the Glenmorangie Elementa, the Ardbeg Corryvreckan. So what was the top one of the year? Well, it's from one of my favourite distilleries. I never really knew about it before I left Diageo. Then I went and visited it because one of my ex-colleagues from Diageo is now the manager there. And it's a Tamdhu. I love what Tamdhu are doing. And Sandy McIntyre up there is doing a fantastic job. And Ian McLeod distillers are doing great things out of Tamdhu. I've finished all my 10s. I've started on a 12, which replaced the 10. Really enjoying that. Was very fortunate to get a sample of the American Oak Manager's Edition that won I think it was the best single cask in world whiskies last year or the year before. Very fortunate to get a sample of that. So I'm loving my Tamdhus. But this is another one that I got as a gift. I got sent this from the Really Good Whisky Company. And this is one of the most recent Tamdhu expressions. It's called Tamdhu Distinction Quercus Alba. Now, most of you will probably know all Tamdhu single malt is matured in ex-sherry casks, but they use a combination of European oak and American oak. And I just love Tamdhu American oak. I mean, I have to say, I do like all the Tamdhu, but if it's a single cask, I much prefer the American oak to the European oak. And this has just been released, I think it's been released for about a month and a half. And you can see I've had a few drams out of it, but not a lot. But this has been my favourite dram of 2021. And that is the Tamdhu Distinction Quercus Alba. And I will have a wee dram of that in my 100 drams for 22, maybe on Friday or Saturday next week. So in about a week's time. So I'm going to try and do 2 or 3 a week. And hopefully that'll even out to about 100 over the year. Don't want to drink too much because we want to be responsible drinkers and we want to do things safely. Yes, Bill, I especially like the American oak. That would be because of the vanilla, which everyone who watches any of my videos knows I like a bit of vanilla in my whiskey. So thanks for that, Bill. Hi, Timothy. Happy New Year to you, sir. You still must be away behind us because you're in the States somewhere. So we'll be having New Year before you, my friend. But hey, thank you for coming on. And hi, Thomas in the States, another one who's been watching regularly. So that's my top 3 of the year. Number 3, Glenmorangie Elementa, 14-year-old. Number 2, Ardbeg Corrie Vrecken, non-age statement, for a whopping 57.1% alcohol. And my Tamdhu, number 1, Tamdhu Distinction, Quercus Alba. Again, a non-age statement, but a good 48, 46, I can't read it. It's either 46 or 48% alcohol. So thanks for joining me, folks, especially for everyone that's been with me through this journey since the whole of December. Hi, Mike. How are you? Good to see you. I hope you've got over your operation and that you're really starting to enjoy your whiskies once again. Good to see you, Mike. So thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great Hogmanay, whatever you're doing. Be safe, be responsible. Stick to the law if you're in Scotland, folks, or stick to law wherever you are, to be honest. But have a good time. And I just want to say, I really hope everybody out there has a blessed, a prosperous, a healthy 2022. And I will see you all soon when I start doing my 100 drams in 22. So whatever you're doing tonight, have a great Hogmanay, have a great new year, and I will see you all in 2022. Cheers and goodbye.